This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne. What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Halfway home to the weekend, and it is time once again for Wyoming Sports Talk Today. I'm Larry Perotti, along with Nick Perotti, and our program today being brought to you by a slew of fine folks. Marv's Plumbing and Heating, 1515 Logan Avenue. Mondello's Pizzeria at 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Suite D in the Greenway Hunt Commons. Oh, by the way, they're still doing some remodeling inside L'Osteria Mondello. They also invite you to come on by 7 days a week for delicious pizza pie, calzone, stromboli, delicious hot and cold Italian sandwiches. Again, always freshly made ingredients, fresh baked bread. Oh, it's so delicious all the time. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue. Sweet D in the Greenway Commons across the street. It's First Tier Bank at 1580 Stillwater Avenue. Open Monday through Friday. Talk to them about their special CD rates going on right now with APYs. Good APYs, oh, by the way. Lennox Auto Body. You will find the main repair center on Dunn Avenue for the autos and trucks. The Auto Glass and Detail Center can be found on Pershing Boulevard. Medicap Pharmacy for all your pharmaceutical needs on Bluegrass Circle next door to Texas Roadhouse. Platte Valley Bank ×2. Saw my good buddy Rick today over on Vanda High. Of course, you can see the gang over on the east side location, as you will find them over at the corner of College and Pershing, Platte Valley Bank. Key of Cheyenne, where they have some 18s that need to go right now, and you're going to find some super deals as they always wheel and deal over at Key of Cheyenne on Nation Way. Chick-fil-A at the corner of Windmill and Del Range, right across from Menards, with 2 convenient drive-thrus. So you can always get 3 squares and delicious eats always from Chick-fil-A. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. My good friends Ray and Cindy invite you to come on by and check out their fantastic breakfast menu. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service, where it's a hell of a sale going on right now on Highway 30. If you are a fan of Jayco, or matter of fact, you're looking for that Jayco RV travel trailer fifth wheel, you're going to find some super specials right now, thanks to that hail of a sale that is going on right now on Highway 30. And we also thank Taco John's, your home for loaded potato olays. 3 for $5 tacos right now, and you'll have to check out what's going on with that special. They also offer to you their Taco Tuesdays, and matter of fact, today feels like it's a 6-pack and a pound day from Taco John's.
Then get on it. I haven't eaten anything today. I've been busy working on a few things, upgrading our visual sides, and we had an interview to record, and how about it?
1-800.
Treat me to something.
1-800. Wah.
Yeah, you're the one.
And last but not least, we want to thank our great friends at Pepsi of Cheyenne, sponsors of our Pepsi scoreboard. We go to our scoreboard. First, we'll hear from Mr. Wah across
I'm
the way.
not the one whining. I'm just making a suggestion because, again, I'm busy here working. Where
I pay
were you?
for everything, and I'm about tired. Why don't you carry your own weight? Anyway,
I don't see you making a $270 payment for a car or anything like that. Yeah, that's right. I do.
Yeah, because mine's over $400.
Well, whose fault is that? That's you. Again, you might want to get away. You might want to get away from that.
You may want to thank your dad. One thing that your sister never
I
do
think
is
the folks over at Kia Cheyenne. That's what I think.
I'm the one who's always taking care of you guys.
Why haven't you got a Kia? Again, why are you paying that ridiculous prices?
I'm going to take care of that. Trust me.
All right. Anyway, so on the local side from last night, LCCC women's volleyball was in action down on the road at Otero Junior College. That resulted in a loss, however, for LCCC, and they are now 6-6 overall. Now for soccer for both men and women, they are in action today. They will get underway with Region 9 North action at home. However, it will be games being played over at Cheyenne East High School. That's where these will be taking place with LCCC men and women. The men will get underway first. They will be taking on Western Wyoming Community College. That game will get underway at 4:30 today. Women will follow up right after them. It's a tentative schedule around 7 o'clock. So, again, both men and women taking on Western Wyoming Community College. Region 9 North action starting up. Again, those games not at LCCC. They are over at East High School for today. And then reminding you about East High School, we will be over there coming up Friday with 1480 K-Ray. The game of the week, it will be East versus South. South High fighting Bison looking for their first win of the season. East looking to rebound after their loss against Thunder Basin. That game will get underway at 6 o'clock on Friday. Pre-game set around 5:30. Tentative schedule 5:30-ish. So, again, 1480 AM, 101.1 FM is where you can listen to it in the Cheyenne area. 1480kray.com is where you can get the web stream. And for the video live stream, we do show it on both Periscope and the 1480 K-Ray YouTube channel. So you have 5 avenues to see and listen to this Friday's contest.
You know, I'm actually insulted by what you said to me.
What?
You know, I at least pay my bills, or my little small company pays its
I
bills.
like how you know.
Unlike iHeartMedia. Those guys, they had a loan payment, interest payment, and what did they do? They hid behind Chapter 11 bankruptcy
They're corporations.
rules.
What do you expect?
Yeah, but I have to pay my bills, and that's what I do. I pay my bills, and the car comes under the radio station, and we pay our bills. So that's why you don't see me doing a lot of crazy things.
Whatever.
And extravagant things like you, because I pay my bills.
I do, too.
Let's go to our scoreboard. They insulted me, and when we get off the air, I'm going to smack you around a little bit.
I didn't insult you. I didn't do anything.
You did insult me.
If anything, I promoted Kia saying, hey,
I know, but
why pay the ridiculous
you're telling me,
prices?
when am I going to get it done? Well, yeah, as soon as I pay all my bills, I'll get it taken care of. I take care of my bills.
I'm just saying that
unlike this
other car dealership didn't do much for you.
Unlike this big corporation of radio that claims they're in town, which they are in Loveland, Colorado. They're not even here, and then they go hide behind Chapter 11 bankruptcy. They kind of suck. Let's go. Major League Baseball. There's a game in progress right now. It's in San Francisco, and boy, I'm having a tough one with these Giants. 10 in a row they've lost.
Yeah, it's a game you can watch on Facebook right now.
I have nothing to do with these clowns. I'm so PO'd at them. They are leading. Giants are leading 1-0 over the Bravos, and they're in the top of the 5th inning. Game that is delayed by weather in New York. Oh, by the way, this is the first game of a doubleheader between the Mets and the Marlins. It's delayed.
Yeah, who cares?
All right, finals that are in the books right now. Reds lose, so the Dodgers finally get one on getaway day as they beat the Reds at Great American Ballpark 8-1. Astros putting more pressure on the Athletics as the Astros win at Detroit 5-4. It is the Rays defeating the Indians 3-1 in the Trop. Pirates get by the Cardinals 4-3. That was at Busch. Games that will be commencing while we're on the air. Padres at the M's, and after we get off the air, it'll be the Nats at the Phillies. Athletics and the Orioles again at Oriole Park and Camden Yards. It will be the Blue Jays and the Bo Sox at Fenway. Marlins and Mets, they should be having Game 2 sometime at the 5 o'clock hour. It will be the Brewers and the Cubs at Wrigley, where the Cubs have extended their lead to 2. Yankees and the Twins at Target Field. White Sox Royals at Kauffman Stadium. Diamondbacks and the Rockies tonight at Coors Field. John Gray going up against Patrick Corbin in that contest, and since the Dodgers won, must win for the Rocks tonight. And the late contest will have the Halos, the Angels at Angel Stadium of Anaheim. They will entertain the Texas Rangers. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Hi, I'm Alex White, tea master at Pure Leaf. When I make tea, everything I know goes into it. You can't be impatient. When I craft Pure Leaf iced tea, I don't take shortcuts, because I want you to have the same amazing taste of iced tea that I do. So I start with fresh picked tea leaves. Then, after they're delicately dried, I blend and brew them at a lower temperature to draw out their unique aromas. And then I taste and fine-tune the blend for a delicious smooth iced tea. I'd love to have you take a sip right now, but that's one thing we can't do over the radio. But you can experience the same delicious taste of Pure Leaf iced tea anywhere you are. I'm Alex White, Pure Leaf Tea Master. Pure Leaf, our thing is tea.
You're listening to Cheyenne's new Sports Talk Authority. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today on AM 1480 K-Ray.
So glad to have your ear today on Wyoming Sports Talk today. We had to do a interview a little earlier this afternoon, and I want to thank Coach Morrison for joining us, as he is a very busy guy, and if he was going to talk to us now, that'd be right in the middle of football practice. So we do want to thank Brad Morrison. He is the Burns Bronx football head coach. He's in his first season. Matter of fact, after spending 6 years in Thermopolis as an assistant, got the job last year and is doing some marvelous things with the Burns Bronx football program. Let's check in with that interview, both Nick and myself, talking with the new head coach at Burns, Brad Morrison. On Wyoming Sports Talk today with yours truly, Larry Proetti and Nick Proetti, we have Burns Bronx head coach Brad Morrison, who's in his first season as a head coach. However, after 6 years of being assistant, promoted to the head coaching position at Burns. First off, Brad, it's nice to talk with you, and congratulations on being elevated to the top guy at Burns. I'm a lot older than you, Brad. Trust me on that. I had a chance many years ago in the late 70s, early 80s to coach with a buddy of mine. We coached at Princeton High School in Northern California, where we had 16 guys. And I remember on the 7-man sled, I had to be the 7th man to help out. So numbers usually in the small schools, and I know you're playing Class 2A, but sometimes it's tough to get those numbers to come on out and play football.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. That was a big goal for me, is to get, anybody that can. We want them out, and we got a place for anybody that wants to play football here. And I think that's kind of how you have to be at a small school. But we're doing pretty good. Not where I'd want to be on numbers, but we're in the high 30s, which I haven't had to put cleats on in practice yet, so that's ideal for everybody. But yeah. It's definitely something you have to be conscious of.
Talk about the area that you draw from in addition to Burns. I would assume Carpenter area, maybe Albin. I'm assuming those parts of the world, Hillsdale?
Yep, yeah, exactly. Hillsdale, Carpenter, Burns, Albin. A little bit, west of Hillsdale too, I think. But we have kids that drive, 40 miles to school.
And you still have kids on your team that are part of farming families. So I know that these young men, in addition to wanting to play football for Burns High School, also still have responsibilities around the land at their farms and what have you. Yeah,
well, one thing I kind of learned pretty quick was that the kids here already know what hard work looks like just from their day-to-day lives. A lot of them having that agricultural background. And, I think that's one thing that you hear a lot is, kids don't work hard these days. But I got a lot of kids that work really hard. So we're pretty blessed for that. And I think it's something that is a huge asset for us.
Well, you talk about that hard work and looking at this season so far, up 2-0 on the early football schedule. But compared to last year, Burns only walking away with 1 victory, but you have them at 2 early on in your first 2 contests. But looking at this year's schedule, you already beat Moorcroft, and then looking at games coming up ahead this weekend, you will be on the road at Buffalo. But how are you feeling about this schedule coming into this season for the Burns Bronx?
Yeah, I think we'll have a chance in any game we're going to play, just because of the kids that have been here, and had to start as freshmen, start as sophomores, and now they're juniors and seniors. Anytime that happens, you usually struggle when those guys are on the field early, but then you're better later on as they cycle up to be upperclassmen. And that's where we're at right now. We've had kids like Alex Pyle, Aiden Carroll, Caden Lake, and Bo Clayson that are all having great years so far, that were those guys that had to start in some tough spots in varsity games against good teams when they were, 15 years old. And so we're better for that.
When you take on schools that are a class higher than you, I look at Buffalo, and then you got the Bulldogs from Wheatland, Glen Rock Herders. I mean, these are a couple 3 programs that have had established.
And don't forget as well too, coming up October 5th, the Battle of Laramie County between Pine Bluff.
And we'll talk about that too. But Coach Morrison, let's talk about some of these bigger opponents that you face, where they have a few more bodies than you do.
Yeah, for us, we're trying to instill that mental. I mean, that's why we came enlisted in the summer for those games, because I think that something we always talk about is doing something difficult is doing something worth doing, And so when you get the opportunity to go to Buffalo, when you get to play the Wheatlands and the other really good programs in this area, that's something you got to be excited for. That's something you got to embrace as a challenge. And how great if you go up and you play a good game against them and you have some success against them. That's coming from a smaller school, that can be something to hang your hat on. And that's something we definitely look forward to and something we embrace.
Something that I definitely want to chat with you about, and again, Nick had alluded to it here just a few moments ago. We have here in Cheyenne, and I've been here for 30-plus years, so obviously it was East Central for many years. Now South has come into the picture, so we get that opportunity of East versus South, Central versus South, still East Central as well. But my question is, tell us about that Pine Bluffs-Burns rivalry, the I-80 rivalry. Again, Pine has had some success over the last couple of seasons. You're looking to turn the football program around. Tell us a little bit about our Eastern Laramie County rivalry.
Yeah, I think it's always a pretty fun game. I've been up at Thermopolis for the last 6 years. This is my first chance to see this game, but the kids are pretty pumped up about it. It's something when I stop in a gas station, people tell me make sure we beat Pine and those kind of things. It'll be a big game. And talking on Pine Bluffs, that's a really good program, really strong program. I really respect Will and what he does over there and making the most out of what he has. And Brian, their defensive coordinator, is a great coach too. So I'm really looking forward to that game as a test. I think that's a team that would have success in 2A and really a great program kind of all around. And that's what we want to be. And I think that's where we're going. And that should be a really fun game in Burns. I think the atmosphere will be great. I'm excited. You try and be 1 week at a time. So
Absolutely.
We're not putting a ton of thought to that, but you're kidding yourself if you think it's not in the back of those kids' minds.
We're talking with Brad Morrison.
It is.
We're talking with Brad Morrison, Burns Bronx football coach, and I didn't mean to step on you there, Coach. Tell us a little bit about what you have instilled offensively and defensively. I don't think we're going to give away any major secrets, but what do you like to do? 87 points over the first couple of games. Obviously, what you've instilled offensively for the Burns Bronx is working.
Yeah, and again, it's about kids. I think you've been around high school sports long enough. It's about players, and I think that we're set up to let our playmakers make plays. A coach I worked with for a long time named Leroy Hayes always said, if you can't run it, you won't be able to throw it, and if you can't throw it, you won't be able to run it. So we try and be really balanced and give teams a lot of different looks, different formations, to get our kids matched up in favorable places, and it's been working so far. But really, what it comes down to is up front, and we got some really tough kids that like to block and play unselfish up front. And anytime you're putting up good numbers and kids are putting up good numbers, it's because your line's playing very well.
I want to pick your brain, Coach, at least for this season again. First-year head coach over there at Burns, taking over this program that was a little bit down last season, again, as I mentioned, with only one win. But for you as a coach taking over this team for the Burns High Bronx, what were some goals that you had this season? Is this something to get above 500 or make it back to at least the Wyoming High School, at least playoffs? What were some of your goals heading into this season?
Yeah, we talked about it as a team. I sat down with the captains and the other coaches, and our goal is to get into the playoffs and then to surprise some people once we get there. Once you get in, anything can happen. So our goal is to what we talk about as a team. We want to go 1-0 each week. Not looking forward, not looking back, but as a team, this group, these seniors that have been through some tough times. I really want to get into the playoffs. That'd be a big step for us as a program. To get up there and then once you're in, nobody knows, anything can happen.
I'd be remiss to ask this last question from my side here, Coach, and I'm glad that you brought up that you were an assistant at Thermopolis, and again, we look down that final game of the season. On the regular season side, October 19th, and you'll be heading to Thermopolis. I know you take it 1 week at a time, but I mean, let's be real. I'm sure you're going to really look forward to that last football game of the season.
Absolutely. I was still working in Thermopolis when I got hired, and I'm still really good friends with the coaches up there, and they were really congratulatory, but it kind of got awkward because we knew what was happening on week 8. We were going to go up there. It'll be a weird feeling for me. Anytime that I coached with the guy Leroy Hayes, who the field is named after up there, so that would be that would be a weird moment, be on the other sideline, but definitely something I'm looking forward to. It should be a really good game. Thermop's had as tough a schedule as anybody in week 1 and 2, so their record's 0-2 right now, but they're a better team than that, and I think that game could be for the playoffs. At the end of the year, definitely a huge game, and I'm excited about it. I have a lot of friends up there still, and left everything on great terms up there. But on game night, it'll be a different deal.
Well, Coach, we wish you all the best for this season. We also wish you a lot of success at Buffalo. Again, a well-storied program. The Bison up there, they're always tough. So, again, good luck coming up on Friday evening.
I appreciate it. Yeah, Buffalo's super tough, but I think the boys are ready for it.
Sounds good. Brad Morrison, Burns Bronx football coach, the head coach here, joining us on 1480 K-Ray.
Hop into the K-Ray Time Machine each Monday through Thursday for the golden age of radio, featuring famous radio classics such as Jack Armstrong and Suspense Theater, along with pioneers in the entertainment industry like Bob Hope and Abbott and Costello, along with many other performers who've captured our ears many, many years ago. Join us for the golden age of radio Monday through Thursday, 8 until 10 p.m. on 1480 K-Ray, also 101.1 FM, and you can also stream all of our programming on 1480kray.com.
Family owned and operated, Terrell Honda reminds you that the 2018's gotta go now. They're stacked deep so they can be sold cheap. Whether you buy or lease, this is the perfect time of year to shop for the best selection of 2018 Honda Civics, Accords, HRVs, and CRVs before the 2019s hit the showroom floor. So take a test drive today at Terrell Honda, where you'll love their brand of dealing. 1919 Westland Road, Motor City, Cheyenne. And check them out online at terrellhonda.com.
When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think authentic Italian. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think made fresh from scratch. When you say Mondello Pizzeria, think great pizza, delicious Philly cheesesteak, superb hot and cold Italian sandwiches, meatballs, sausage, and special subs, calzones, crisp salads, and great service. When you say Mondello's Pizzeria, think unmatched Italian taste. Mondello's Pizzeria, 1507 Stillwater Avenue, your only true Italian stop for lunch or dinner.
Giant Auto Repair and Service, proven and respected when it comes to the care of your vehicle. For nearly 25 years, Cars has been there to repair and fix those minor problems to get you back on the road without major difficulties. And now, as we do more traveling at this time of year, see Giant Auto Repair and Service first for your car or truck when it comes to tuning it up, an oil change, brakes, shocks, work on your air conditioning unit, and so much more. John and his crew at Cars gives your vehicle the precise detail it deserves. Respected with quality workmanship. Always bring your vehicle to Shine Auto Repair and Service at 604 West Lincoln Way. Call for an appointment at 632-0498. Open Monday through Friday.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 87 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 52. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 85. And on Thursday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 51.
When it comes to sports talk in Cheyenne, it's a whole new ballgame. Let's play ball! You're listening to Wyoming Sports Talk today, and it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Pro Man, me, along with Junior Pro Man, he across the way there, that being Nick Proetti. Again, thank you to Brad Morrison joining us on Wyoming Sports Talk today. Again, nice to talk to our Eastern County coaches. We already talked to Pine, and now we get a chance to talk with Brad at Burns.
And again, two teams right now with Burns and Pines Bluff. 4-0, or at least combined efforts right now, undefeated for both, with, I do believe, Burns, in Class 2A, Pine Bluff in 1A. So, again, respective teams right now doing very well here in Laramie County. Again, with Pine Bluffs, they are the two-time defending state champions, looking to make it a three-peat coming up this year, and it's looking like, especially after some of the scores we've seen, that they're kind of on pace to do it again. They don't really have a whole lot of competition out there in Class 1A, and this Burns team has certainly turned it around from last season. Again, 1 win overall. This is a team that does not get to the playoffs pretty often. I do believe in the history of Burns, I don't believe they have ever had a state title in football. I do believe. And again, right now, 2-0 on the season. Got rest of the contest coming up. Again, they will be on the road at Buffalo. Just looking at the rest of Burns, at least their schedule.
They got the Wheatland Bulldogs on the 21st.
Yeah, they host Wheatland. They'll be at Glen Rock.
The Herders are always tough at home. That'll be at the end of the month.
The tough one, again, Battle of Laramie County, of what we've been kind of determining. Again, Burns, fortunate enough to have it at Burns, but they will be hosting the Pine Bluffs Hornets. Again, a team who, again, this might be a battle of how these two have been playing. This might be a determination of who gets their first loss on the season. That's how well these two have been. And then looking at least the rest of the schedule, at home for Newcastle, and then on the road at Thermopolis, as Coach mentioned. Again, he was a former assistant up there and returning back to old roots, and that's going to be, at least in his opinion, a possible determination of who might make it into the playoffs, if Burns will. But again, we're so far away, that's still a few games to go. But right now for Burns and Pine Bluffs, again, for these 2A and 1A schools, they're doing pretty fantastic right now, representing Laramie County pretty well.
And a tough 8-game schedule for Burns, and then hopefully, like you said, they'll qualify for the 2A playoffs. And then again, we keep our eye on Pine Bluffs, which is the defending 1A champion 2 years running. You know, it's interesting, and I mentioned this, and I don't want to go off track, but when I had that opportunity to coach high school football in California, and again, the town of Princeton, with some of the outlying farming areas, was only 400 people. And again, we played 11-man football, Class 1A.
It's amazing that they actually pull it off to have a full
Yeah,
squad.
I mean, we only had 16 kids. So imagine, and again, you're from freshmen to seniors playing on varsity level.
It is surprising, again, with these small communities pulling into enough to have at least a full roster, where we're, at least here in the capital city, we're seeing one team, and that would be Cheyenne South, that's having issues, as they posted earlier on their Facebook page that I did repost as well to notify folks. But Cheyenne South, their non-varsity football games this season have been adjusted, where they are combining efforts of freshmen, sophomore, and JV into one team, because the numbers are pretty lacking right now for Cheyenne South football. And also, too, as they put a little footnote on top of that, is those games are to be determined and subject to cancellation if numbers or eligibility become an issue for the South High Fighting Bison. Again, that is a non-varsity football game. So
it hurts.
I'm just saying, even here in the largest city in Wyoming, we're having, at least one of our schools is having issues footing enough to at least have a non-varsity football squad. So it's pretty amazing what these smaller communities, especially here in the state of Wyoming, outreaching again with Burns, Pine Bluffs, what they do. Be interesting, and again, a question probably we'll have to pry on with Will or either Coach Morrison out there. Something I wish I would ask, but interesting to see if they have little competing, or how those lines get drawn of, oh, you can join Pine Bluffs if you want to, or you can go over to Burns, or if there are those possible stealing of players where
I don't think that happens, Nick, because again,
you're on the fringe here in Hillsdale, you have the opportunity if you want to.
Well, again, Hillsdale and Burns are right next to each other. No. Carpenter's across the road on I-80, down a ways, okay? But Pine Bluffs is pretty much its own community with 1,100 people. That's what the county census says. It's at 1,100 people. Burns is about 400 people as well, and they draw a little bit from Hillsdale. Hillsdale's not big. Carpenter's not big. Albin's not big.
It just doesn't make sense how Burns is a class higher than Pine Bluff.
Because I think with the addition of the three other communities and such, it puts them over the population base to allow them to play in 2A. The thing is, like I said, I go back, and again, I really enjoyed my time coaching when we had 16 kids, and I did it 2 years over there. Matter of fact, my buddy who ran the program there, Billy Fulmer, no relation to the Tennessee coach, and we always called him Bobo. We had 16 guys for 2 seasons that I was there, and you shudder anytime one of the kids went down.
Well, obviously.
And I can't imagine what each of these coaches must go through when one of their key players, because I guarantee you their key players are going both ways. Just like our kids
I would
did.
doubt.
And
No,
go ahead.
Well, you were mentioning yours. I thought we were talking here in the city of Cheyenne.
No, I was talking about when I was back in the coaching days. And
anyways, though, but yeah, again, they don't have that opportunity to reload or at least have, again, options on the bench to take over again if you do lose a key player. So, again, obviously in the offseason, health is a big thing. Again, working on conditioning, working on trying to, again, get muscle strength, get him into the gym as fast as possible, as much as you can as well.
And again, these kids are working. If you and I have been out in that part of the world, so a lot of these families have they're ranchers, farmers.
Yeah.
So a lot of these young men are helping Pop out there 5:30 in the morning, either working out in the fields, taking care of the cattle, whatever the case may be. These young men are, and again, they're sisters. It's a family operation, so everybody's working. And I had that same situation in Princeton. We would have kids all during the summer working with mom and dad because, again, school would be let out in mid-May, so they can get to the fields and what have you and do the work. But again, the commitment that those kids showed when I was coaching at Princeton, and again looking at the kids at Burns and Pine, their commitment to playing football, and it doesn't matter whether they go 0-8 or they win state championships. They are there, and they are there for the coaches to teach them the game of football, and they put out 11 guys every Friday night. And it's a credit to these small communities like Pine Bluffs and Burns that can actually do it. We already heard from the coach at Pine Bluffs where he said they had to cancel their game with Kimball. Kimball is double,
and that was because of Kimball, though.
Kimball's double the size of Pine Bluffs. You mean they can't field 11
Well,
kids?
they moved down, though. Again, they're only footing 6-man football.
Yeah, but they can't. They're double the size of Pine Bluffs, and they can't.
I don't know.
Field.
That's Nebraska. We can go ask them.
No, I'm not even gonna mess with it. But that just
apparently out there they're not procreating, so I don't know.
Well, again, their census out there says 20. What did I remember?
Either again, maybe those
they were at 2,500.
Maybe those young athletes out there decided, hey, football's not for me. I'll focus on working for those farms out there, or do something else, or maybe again where you could get away with it here in town of going, I'll focus on one sport. I'll be a basketball player. I'll be only a wrestler. Maybe that's the situation that they are, and not having that opportunity to have that multi-sport athlete. Who knows what's going on with Kimball? Again, that's in Nebraska. Who cares? Other than that, though.
Well, they care, obviously. And
it doesn't matter to us, though.
I know, but again, for Pine Bluffs, that was one contest that is tradition. They always play Kimball.
Well, they made a new tradition coming up this year, again, where they faced off against Ray, Colorado. So again,
Yuma.
Oh, that's who they. Yeah, who am I thinking of? Ray that played them. I don't know. Anyway, so again, well. You adjust on the fly. You have to deal with those issues, especially down in the lower classes. Oh, well. And I think they're fine with it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it matters. I think that would have been, in my opinion, again, especially how the Hornets are playing, that would have been another easy victory on this schedule for Pine Bluff. They are that good. Right. That's a team that is absolutely just dominant in Class 1A, and you wonder how much time is left for them in that class to probably move them up. Knowing how this Wyoming High School Athletics Association loves to move those teams that are pretty much dominating, like a Star Valley, especially there in class. I do believe they were anticipated to move up to 4A.
That's for basketball, not for football.
Well, football was always entertained that they were.
Yeah, it was always entertained, but it never came to pass. And again, you got to look at teams that were former 4As. Green River,
yeah,
Cody,
Evanston,
and Riverton.
I always thought Riverton was 3A.
No, they were 4A. So again, changes, population always determines a lot of things. So anyway.
Yeah, but it gets to the point as well, too. It seems like Pine Bluffs, they have that opportunity to reload, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you for coughing.
I told you, you don't want to go there again with me.
I'm going to go there because, again, I had to purposely make sure that laptop will not go off during one of our interviews today as well, too. Because, again, that got a little annoying yesterday. But going off of, again, as we talk about Class 2A, Class 1A, we do have high school football coming up this Friday. Again, Class 4A with us. We will be at Cheyenne East, at least watching that contest with them. and Cheyenne South. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff, 5:30-ish pregame. And again, all our multiple avenues to watch and listen to that contest. Other games going on in Class 4A this Friday. Laramie will be at newly number one, Natrona County. That game will get underway at 7 o'clock. Natrona County has won 13 straight. That's dating back to last season. Last Laramie win was in 2001. Last Laramie win at Natrona County was back all the way in 1994 in the state championship game. So that's how long ago.
John Detai, John Detai Jr. was coaching the team.
Yeah, so I anticipate, again, Natrona of how well they've been playing, again, upsetting the number one Sheridan Bronx. Natrona, this one, it feels like Natrona should easily cruise in this, but Laramie's been the thorn inside of, again, we saw with Kelly Walsh. They've kept games competitive, so I'm curious to see if the Plainsmen can keep up with this Natrona County team, but I highly doubt it.
No, not going to do it.
Newly number 2, Thunder Basin, as we anticipated. They moved up in the ranks. They will be taking on number 3, Sheridan. That game will get underway at 7 o'clock on Friday. Sheridan, obviously with Thunder Basin being new last year, Sheridan does have the 1-0 series lead in that.
And where is this game going to be at?
At Sheridan, as I said.
At Sheridan. So that's going to be at Homer Scott Stadium or Homer Scott Field. Here's the deal. If Thunder Basin has arrived with their win last week against East, very convincing, and again, Mason Hamilton probably
it's your premier quarterback,
premier quarterback of this Class 4A.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and there's no doubt about that.
If Thunder Basin is for real,
they need to win this one.
They got to win on the road and against a quality opponent. This is going to be their quality opponent on the road. In the Sheridan Bronx, who are going to be,
and I think they can,
and they're going to be loaded. They're going to be loaded for bear after their loss to Natrona, and they got beat up by Natrona.
Yeah, but Sheridan also too is going to be that team that's going to be a little bit upset about that, losing that number 1 ranking, getting quote unquote
it's a pride
upset.
Thing. Yeah, absolutely.
It is absolutely a pride thing. So for Sheridan, they're looking to get back on the winning track. But I think the Thunder Basin team is just very good. This is something. It's maybe at the beginning of the season I saw as possibly a loss for Thunder Basin, but right now this team is for real, and I think they will absolutely get it done. And I think in a very close effort, maybe by a touchdown. It might be a situation of who has the ball last. Thunder Basin, I think it's a close one up there.
This will be, of all of the games this weekend,
that's obviously the premier game.
It'll be the most competitive game.
Yeah. I'm curious about Kelly Walsh and Rock Springs, but we'll get to that one as well. But Rock Springs is giving people a little bit of fits. Kelly Walsh, I don't know what to make of it. Kelly Walsh again. They were slow against Cheyenne South and eventually turned on the afterburners there in the second half. But
Kelly Walsh, real quick, just to review on Kelly Walsh. They beat Laramie.
All right.
Went
they barely beat Laramie. Again,
they went toe-to-toe with East.
Yeah, they lost to East.
And then they won going away against South. Yeah, it was a little bit of a
they won at home against South. But again,
Rock Springs, though, struggled against Central in their only win. They've lost to Laramie. But
every game has been close, though. Every game has been competitive.
I don't think this one's good. Is it at Rock Springs?
Yes, it is.
It's at Rock Springs. I think Kelly Walsh is at least 2 touchdowns better.
Anyway, so we're not even on that one. But for our matchup, South versus East, again, East is the number 4 ranked team in Class 4A. Again, 6 o'clock kickoff. East leads the series all time 6-1. So,
and that one loss still gnaws at the craw of Coach Goff. When we talked with him last week, and he remembers. Yeah, and he does not let his teams ever forget that they had lost to crosstown rival South.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens coming up this Friday. Continue on. Number 5, Kelly Walsh at Rock Springs. That is a 6 o'clock start time as well in Rock Springs. Teams have split the last 4 games, so again, 2-2. So, again, to be determined on this one. Spiegelberg can certainly run. He might take advantage of this Rock Springs team. But this one, I have a feeling, might be a little bit more competitive than what you anticipate. Again, Kelly Walsh is nothing too spectacular, in my opinion.
Well, let's put it this way. Spiegelberg, if he continues to run like he has, he'll have 1,000 yards after 4 weeks of football.
Good on him. Yeah. And there's no surprise that he isn't. And we're talking about Hamilton being the premier quarterback. Spiegelberg is probably the top running back in all of Wyoming.
And to be real honest, I hope this cat stays healthy because with all the football they play, this guy could run for over 2,000 yards. Potentially. Potentially, he's on that pace right now.
And coming up the last game on Class 4A, again, a game that I anticipate could be close as well. It might be a fighting effort. Cheyenne Central will be on the road at Campbell County. That is a 7 o'clock kickoff. This is a contest where both teams are looking for their first victory, so someone will get a win, their first win of the season. Just depends on it. Will it be Central or will it be Campbell County? Central won last year to break a 6-game skid. Last Central win at Campbell County, get this, was back in 1989. This might be the year they might reverse those fortunes, might get the victory, but who knows? Again, it is traveling all the way up to Gillette. We know how much tough go of that is, especially last week with Thunder Basin and Cheyenne East, but this one as well, again, with Kelly Walsh Rock Springs, Thunder Basin Sheridan, I think this is another game that might be pretty competitive. It might come down to the wire as what we saw with Central and Rock Springs. I don't know what to make of both of these teams. I have a feeling that Central should pick up the win in this contest, but I don't know. These two teams are going to scrap at it, again, try to get their first win.
Here's the deal with Coach Chapadaka should have his team frothing at the mouth, just simply for the fact last week they came close, and I mean really close at Risky Field to getting their first win for Coach Chapadaka. Second of all, this team better be frothing at the mouth because they have not scored an offensive touchdown. So those 5 hosses up front better get the job done. Open up the holes for the running back and provide some passing time. So the quarterback's not running for his life and, again, throwing off his back foot. Again, we saw that in week 1. I think against the Camels, who, again, are not good. They're just not good.
Again, nothing to sell short of Central, but Central's kind of in that. I think they're a little bit more talented Campbell County, but they're
Central's one of the weaker teams. Yeah. I will give you that, but I think they are better than Campbell County.
But again, it's still on the road. It's still a hard trip to go about. Again, going across the state. It's certainly in Campbell County's favor to get this victory. Again, no team is really jumping off the page of that has the massive odds-on just favoritism in this contest. Again, both teams are kind of, on paper, in my opinion, equivalent. But
let's put it this way. Neither team is good defensively.
Which will be beneficial.
So both offenses, I would think, should score some points. Both.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of who's going to score the most. I think Central will score the most. I think defensively, and I think we got an indication last week against Rock Springs that the defense stood up a little bit against the Tigers. Well, the Tigers, I think, are a little better than the Camels as well. So I'm looking for Central to go on the road, be very hungry for that first victory, know that they're going to get their first victory. The Camels got a lot of problems. We heard that all up in Gillette last week. There's still a lot of problems. Numbers are good. Numbers of kids going out are good, but they're young. And they're very young kids, very inexperienced, and hopefully, some of those veterans on Cheyenne Central.
It would not surprise me if Campbell County gets the victory, though.
No.
It would not surprise me.
It's not going to happen. I don't believe it will.
I would never say never, especially in what we've seen, at least here in the first 3 weeks of high school football.
I'd be severely disappointed then if that happened. I would.
I don't know about disappointed. Again, it is traveling all the way. Again, Gillette's a tough place to play on the road. Again,
they're not driving like you and me. They're in a bus.
You're still sitting there for 3 hours. It still affects you. Where again, hey, Campbell County, they're at school. They get to stay at home for a bit or go home, and
they're in their own beds. I understand it, but also too, you don't just like you and me. I mean, we do the same thing that the kids do. They do pull over, they stop, they get out, stretch their legs, and it's not like they're confined to the bus for 3.5 hours. So
I get that, but again, it's still a tough track. It's again, I don't go right off and say Central. Yep, you got your first victory here. No, again, Campbell County's going to put up a fight in this one. Again, they have just that slight advantage of being at home.
And here's the thing about Friday Night Lights coming up: we have East-South, and Central will be on the road at Gillette. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, both nights are going to be warm nights. So things that
Both nights. What do you? Oh.
Well, both games.
There you go.
On Friday night are going to be. It's going to be warm on Friday night, and again, too, the thing you have to worry about is cramping. So you got to make sure that these kids stay hydrated throughout the ball, because again, it's going to be. It's about 5-6 degrees warmer.
I don't think that's going to be an issue. Again, this temperature has not drastically changed over the past 3 weeks.
On the turf, it's about 10 degrees warmer.
Okay, but again, this is something they've seen for 3 weeks now. It's not going to change any mentality or, again, alter anything. Again, it's been about 85, 86, or however kind of warm here in Cheyenne or Gillette. It's kind of a stupid thing to say. Again, I think they're going to understand.
It's not stupid to say, because in practice, you don't go game conditions in practice. You stop, you review, you do things over. In game conditions,
I don't think they're idiots. It's a situation that they understand. Hey, water's available out there. They're going to get it done.
That's what I'm just saying. Though this is a situation where you do.
It's not like you're transitioning from here to go play in Phoenix, where it's maybe 100. It's not going to be that drastic for them. They practiced. They played a few games in it. They know what they're doing.
Okay. You know everything.
I think the coaches understand, hey, you look a little winded, take a break.
I'm just saying.
Get some water.
Just saying these are things that can happen. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, we need to take a timeout, and when we come back, we'll have more Wyoming Sports Talk today after these words.
At Platte Valley Bank, we believe it shouldn't cost you money to access your money. That is why we offer free ATMs anytime, anywhere. Whether you are across town or traveling abroad, there won't be an added expense to access the funds in your Platte Valley Bank account. Free ATMs are just one of the great benefits of banking with us. Stop by and talk to one of our friendly associates to discuss what else Platte Valley Bank has to offer.
Platte Valley Bank, member FDIC.
You can count on Platte Valley Bank. Community banking for you.
Now is the time to start planning for a safe ride home by designating a sober driver for those up-and-coming special occasions. You know, those occasions when alcohol is more likely going to be present, like the occasional fall and winter wedding receptions, sports, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's Eve parties. This is retired Wyoming Patrol Captain Troy McLeese asking you to beat death and don't cheat life. Designate a sober driver for all occasions. This message brought to you by Cheyenne Regional Medical Center, Injury Prevention and Traffic Safety.
Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer, at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
Good game, boys. You showed some real fight. Like when Wachowski put that hit on our own mascot. Solid work, son. Okay, Friday was for football, but Tuesday is for tacos. Taco Tuesday at Taco John's. It's a sacred holiday where we eat tacos repeatedly until I get full.
Save big every Taco Tuesday with crispy beef tacos for just 99 cents.
Get some rest, boys, because come Taco Tuesday, we olay the day.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Capital Lumber is lumber one in Cheyenne. Are you listening? We're all the lumber store you'll ever need.
For over 50 years, Capital Lumber Company has offered a full line of hardware and lumber selections. Plenty of materials, even for the do-it-yourselfer. So talk with one of the many experts today at Capital Lumber Company. Capital Lumber Company is the best in the region, and they are your true value hardware store. Lumber One in Cheyenne. Capital Lumber Company at 1222 Dunn Avenue.
Did you know High West Energy has been serving residents of Laramie County for 75 years? Based in Pine Bluffs, High West Energy is an electric co-op proudly serving 10,000 customers in 3 states, including 20 subdivisions surrounding Cheyenne and F.E. Warren Air Force Base. We're owned by our customers who share in the profits and have a voice in ensuring that we maintain high standards while keeping electricity costs low. Keeping energy affordable for 75 years. HighWestEnergy.com.
A Touchstone Energy partner.
First Tier Bank strives to remain competitive and offers some of the best CD rates in the community, as well as area banks and credit unions per Rate Watch reports. How does that make a difference to you? First Tier Bank can assist you in securing some of the best rates on CDs. They have a 16-month CD at an annual percentage yield of 2.33% and a 27-month CD at an APY of 2.74%. First Tier Bank offers the personalized customer service you've grown accustomed to and deserve. Plus, feel confident that your finances are taken care of by a responsible, knowledgeable staff. Call 307-632-3500 and ask for Caitlin or Debbie. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 87 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 52. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 85. And on Thursday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 51.
Tired of lazy and predictable sports talk radio? We know you are. This is Cheyenne's new sports radio home. It's Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's right here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Working for the weekend, you got that right here on 1480 K-Ray. See,
You knew you wanted to say the other thing.
KYY?
You had to think about that one. You're like,
I said 1480 K-Ray. The thing is, too, and you don't get it, and I got to explain it to you again. Talking about cramps. We're talking about calf cramps.
Something that you can get whenever.
You get cramps.
You can get it indoors. You can get it outdoors. You can get it in the cold. Again, these are athletes. They know what they're doing. We know.
You know, if you ever would have played the game, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I didn't play the game, but
you didn't play much.
Yeah.
So if you had played the game, you know what I'm talking about. These do happen in these type of weathers.
You're just acting as if they're not going to realize, oh, hey, what's water? How do I drink this thing?
You know, I remember your old trainer at East High. And I remember him sitting down with the big parents meeting saying, hey, you know, we got to make sure that our young men do this, do that, because you guys don't. You get caught up in the game and you don't do these kind of things. All I'm just saying is it's going to be warm Friday night in both locations, and that's something you need to be concerned about. That's all.
I guess.
So
I really guess. Yeah.
And we didn't really talk about.
Glad you went on that spiel.
No, you make it sound like it is no big deal. It is a big deal.
I never said it was a big deal, but it's not going to be anything they're not accustomed to. This is the fourth week into the season. I would hope so. Well, I would hope they figure out things.
Well, you know, it just may happen. And I will point it out to you if it does happen this Friday night. I do want to mention, too, we didn't really get into this with East and South coming up on Friday night. And, again, that series in favor of the T-Birds, 6-1.
Mm-hmm.
With the loss again. And when we talked with Chad Goff last Friday night, looking ahead towards this game, as he was like, hey, you know, we got Thunder Basin here, but I guarantee you we have not forgotten, or I have not forgotten that we lost to them once. And the thing is with the Thunderbirds, and hopefully when we get that chance to talk with Chad on our pregame show, the one question I would ask him, because I know he said on our postgame show last week, we're still young, and we're making young mistakes. And I'm wondering how you got those things all cleared up this week before you get ready for South. Because I got a feeling the T-Birds are going to come onto that field.
Well, I hope it's not a same excuse if for whatever reason. Again, I don't anticipate South to pull off the victory in this one, but if they were to, I mean, is that going to be a valid excuse? Where South is pretty young as well, too, of what they're
very
doing.
Young, yeah.
They're a very young team, so there is no real excuse of, hey, we are young. Again, this for East should be that tune-up game, essentially that kind of style of a contest of, hey, let's right our wrongs, let's try to perfect of what's been issues for us. Again, I think the biggest issue is that offensive line trying to
secondary.
Again, did we not see the QB running for his life against Thunder Basin and also too against Kelly Walsh? Mm-hmm. That offensive line does have issues. We have certainly seen that. And again, also too, I would make an argument of where we saw with Spiegelberg and also too the running back for Thunder Basin of last week. Again, is missed tackles. Missed tackles on that defensive side of, again, not wrapping up and not bringing them down to that turf. That's been a big issue as well. And the secondary, again, there's a lot of problems right now for Cheyenne East, and this is that perfect opportunity to right those wrongs and also to take care of the costly penalties. Again, the penalties you should not be making here in week 4, whether it is delay of game or, again, those encroachment, at least penalties, or again just kind of stupid mental mistakes. It has that feeling for East. Again, if you are Chad Goff, you take advantage of this and going, let's not take them lightly, but let's make sure we this is our opportunity to basically get it into the minds of our kids of going, hey, this is how we should be playing football. Not shooting ourselves in the foot.
Right.
When we play 100% or at least the near perfect game, this is the end result. Kind of, again, get that ingrained into them of going, if we do this, this happens in the positive route.
And it's interesting, too. You go back to that Thunder Basin game last week. You know, you go back to the first half. They let that touchdown happen right before the end of the first half. They marched up and down 3 times and then shot themselves in the foot, like you would say. The team basically in the first half rubbed elbow to elbow with Thunder Basin. East was their own
again
worst
offense.
enemy.
Well, yeah, it was that offense did have struggles. Again, they would drive and then a costly penalty, or either a turnover, or either here it is a costly play that lost them about
the mental mistakes. Yeah. Eventually caught up with them, and then by making those mistakes, Thunder Basin was there to jump on top of them and say, "Hey, you know what? We're gonna take the ball down. We're gonna throw it on you, and we're gonna catch you while you're down." And they did. They caught East napping more than one occasion in that contest.
For both teams, for East, starting with them, it is a situation of, hey, let's focus on trying to get back to our perfect game, get back on that winning side, get rid of those mental mistakes, and try to again get back on that winning side. For South, I think for the Fighting Bison, especially to be competitive in this one and try to pull off the upset against Cheyenne East, what they have to do is carry off of the positive efforts that they had against Kelly Walsh again, where they finally put up scores, they finally put up points, they put up touchdowns. It is a situation of, hey, for Cheyenne South, you carry that momentum, that small little momentum, those little hills that I told you to climb last week, you continue it, make it a little bit bigger of a hill. All right, let's try and lead. Let's lead for a quarter. Let's lead at half against this team. Let's not make as many costly mistakes. Let's try and ease down those penalties. Again, for South, I think that's what they need to focus on again, is try to make those little small hills that they need to climb over a little bit bigger of going, all right, we've done this. Now let's try doing this in this contest.
Well, again, we'll get it all sized up here coming up on Friday evening. Again, pregame show somewhere around 5:30, and we'll have kickoff, we hope, at 6 p.m. Officials got to work with us once in a while.
I'll have to talk with him, and also, too, we are waiting on a few elements as well, too, with our pregame show.
Don't worry. It will all be ready to rock and roll by Friday.
See.
Hey, once again, we want to thank Brad Morrison, Burns Bronx football head coach. Join us in hour number 1. In hour number 2, we will have UW Senior Associate Athletic Director Kevin McKinney on the way right here on 1480 K-Ray.
This is 1480 KRAE Cheyenne.
Also being heard on translator K266CC Cheyenne at 101.1 FM.
What you are about to hear is a sports talk radio show unlike any other that has ever before been broadcast in the capital city of Cheyenne, Wyoming, USA. This is Cheyenne, Wyoming's Sports Talk Authority. The Wyoming Cowboys, the Denver Broncos, the Colorado Rockies, and the Denver Nuggets. The show is local. It's regional, and yes, the show is national as well. Wyoming Sports Talk Today is on the air. If they're talking sports on the radio in Cheyenne, this is the place it happens. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
It is hour number 2 of Wyoming Sports Talk Today, which is being brought to you by Taco John's of Cheyenne. Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service on Highway 30 having their hail of a sale right now. Chick-fil-A, corner of Windmill and Del Range, 2 convenient drive-thrus directly across from Menards. Kia of Cheyenne over on Nation Way. Platte Valley Bank, 2 banking locations. First, the original location on Vanda High and the Eastside location, corner of College and Pershing. Medicap Pharmacy, same location as always. Bluegrass Circle, next door to Texas Roadhouse. Lennox Auto Body, founded by Dick Lennox and the tradition carried on by daughter Heather, as you will find the main auto and truck repair center on Dunn Avenue, and the Auto Glass and Detail Center could be found on Pershing Boulevard. First Year Bank, 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Banking done the old-fashioned way, customer service. You always first and foremost. Talk to them about their CD rates at 1508 Stillwater Avenue. Across the street at 1507 Stillwater Avenue in the Greenway Commons, it's Mondello's Pizzeria. They're in Suite D. And again, delicious eats 7 days a week from Mondello's Pizzeria. Marv's Plumbing and Heating at 1515 Logan Avenue. And we always get our program started each hour with our scoreboard. And, of course, our scoreboard Friday night will be brought to you by these great folks, Pepsi of Shine. We go first to Nick to see what's on his scoreboard.
In local side, at least with LCCC, women's volleyball in action late last night against Otero on the road. They lost that contest, so unfortunately, in LCCC, women's volleyball is now 6-6 overall. LCCC men's and women's soccer will be in action coming up today. A little bit later, starting with the men underway at 4:30. They will be here in Cheyenne, taking on Western Wyoming Community College. That game, however, will be over at East High School, not at LCCC, but at Cheyenne East High School. Same with the women. They will be in action right after that game wraps up against Western Wyoming Community College. And again, that game will be played as well over at East High School. Tentative schedule for 7 o'clock start time for the women's contest out there. And again, as we've been mentioning for quite some time, we will have Cheyenne East versus Cheyenne South over at Cheyenne East High. Again, that will be a kickoff at 6 o'clock on Friday with a pregame show, tentative schedule of 5:30. Again, 101.1 FM, 1480 AM on the radio dial here in the Cheyenne area, 1480kray.com for the web stream audio, and for video live streaming on Periscope and the 1480kray YouTube channel. So 5 different ways to watch and listen to Friday Night Lights coming up this Friday.
From the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
Or Cheyenne East.
No, it's the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
Or Cheyenne East. It's at Cheyenne East.
No, it's at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex.
Which is at Cheyenne East.
All right, Major League Baseball. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Giants and the Braves. 1-1 as San Francisco looking to snap a 10-game losing streak. You bums. Still delayed are the Mets and the Marlins. They got to get these two in at Citi Field. Don't know if they will.
Do they really need to? Doesn't mean
well,
anything.
they want to get their full 162 game allotment.
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything.
It does for contracts,
I guess.
Dodgers have already bested the Reds 8-1, so that puts the pressure on the Rockies, who are now just a game ahead of the Dodgers before tonight's action. Astros putting the pressure on the Athletics with a 5-4 win at Detroit against the Motor City Kitties, so their lead now 3.5 before the A's hit the field against the Orioles. It was the Rays winning the Trop 3-1, and the Pirates over the Cardinals 4-3 at Busch. Getting underway before we get out there will be the Padres at the M's at Safeco. 5 o'clock hour have the Nats and the Phillies, Athletics at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, Blue Jays and the Red Sox. Obviously, the Marlins and the Mets will not get Game 2 underway in the 5 o'clock hour. That's being pushed back even further right now. Brewers and the Cubs, they'll wrap up their series at Wrigley Field with the Cubbies now back on top by 2 full games after winning last night. It's the Yankees and the Twins at Target Field, White Sox and the Royals at Kauffman Stadium, the Diamondbacks and the Rockies at Coors. It's 92 degrees right now in Lodo. Patrick Corbin will toe the rubber for Arizona, and John Gray getting the call for Bud Black's Colorado Rockies. And the late night game from SoCal with the Angels at Angel Stadium in Anaheim, they will entertain the Texas Rangers. Our scoreboard brought to you by Pepsi of Cheyenne.
Yo, this is your cup holder talking. You know.
34. That's 316-7634.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 87 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 52. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 85. And on Thursday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 51.
Got something to say? Then get it off your chest right now. Phone lines are open at 307-514-1071. Make your opinion count and call the show. Wyoming Sports Talk today.
We're back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and we have the opportunity right now to bring on our next guest, he being Kevin McKinney, UW Senior Associate Athletic Director at the University of Wyoming. Kevin, good afternoon. Thank you again for joining both Pops and Sonny Boy here on Wyoming Sports Talk today.
My pleasure. I'm sorry I'm a little late, guys.
No, we're right on time. 4:10. That's what we have you scheduled for. So we are perfect. You are perfect.
Well, then I take it back.
Yeah, I want you to take it back. Yeah, definitely. Okay, Kevin. We will talk a little bit about Mizzou. Put that to bed, then start looking forward to the Wofford Terriers. Things that you saw, and again, let's stop being on the negative side with the Wyoming Cowboys here. We know the offense had its struggles, but again, Mizzou, a very good team. But I would say, in my opinion, and I'll get your take on it, but the defense ponied up to the bar for a good portion of that ball game against those Tigers.
Oh, it did. And it was more of a case they were just on the field for too long. 93 plays is way too long to be on the field to defend. You know, when they were fresh and early in the game after the fumble early, they were able to hang in there. Now, you know, they were playing a really good offense and a heck of a quarterback, I must say. But they were able to hang in there. They just wore down. This is a very big team, and the one thing they had to do was move the chains and keep the ball offensively and keep it away from that offense, and we could not do that, and that left the defense out there hanging.
Now, I know our offense is getting banged up a little bit, you know, in some of the key positions right now, but also
mainly running back, especially loss of Nico Evans.
Well, yeah, and then also too, we're getting thin at tight end.
Yeah.
But also, you know, the deal is where you said the defense was out there way too long. The offense is not making a lot of friends on the defensive side right now.
No, and they did have some flashes where they could move the ball a little bit, but they've got to be much more consistent at moving the chains and maintaining possessions and making teams defend them over a long period of time rather than the other way around. And that was never more glaring than it was on Saturday because the defense just couldn't hold up having to be out on the field so long.
You know, you look back on the two past games against the Cougars as well as last week's game against Mizzou, and you know, you throw out the fourth quarter in the home opener for the Cowboys, and you know this team definitely could be 2-1, but it could be 2. I would think if they would have beat the Cougars, a little more confidence heading out to Columbia, and maybe the outcome, it might be in favor of the Tigers, but a little bit different. I mean, it's just until the offense gets the drill, Kevin, that defense just can't carry this team on its shoulders for 35, 40 minutes.
No, you got to move the ball. You got to score points. You got to put pressure on their defense, and give your defense a rest. And so the offense not able to do that in these last two games, and so the results were not pretty. But this is going to be an interesting week. This week, you're going to look at a whole different situation because they run a three-man front. So this is more like a New Mexico type or San Diego State, really. But it's going to be an interesting game But this is a game where the offense is going to have to be more consistent, and it's going to have to be able to put drives together and keep their defense on the field rather than Wyoming's defense.
But do you believe, though, against Wofford, again, not downplaying Wofford, they're a team that's been in the FCS playoffs before. Again, they're starting off this season 2-0, but even when we talked with Todd Shaughnessy yesterday, he was very confident that Wyoming should easily take care of business coming up in Laramie, but is this the perfect storm for the Cowboys to kind of rebound, again, figure out things on offense, get it flowing in a good way, good direction, to look forward to Boise State coming up, and then also to that defense to take that break in, not have to at least shoulder the entire world on them, again, get that opportunity to rest and maybe relax a bit before they take on Boise coming up?
Well, all those things are true, Nick. I mean, this is a very important game for Wyoming to kind of get its swagger back a little bit and get the confidence back that it had when it started the season in New Mexico State. This will be an interesting game because this team plays an awful lot like Air Force does. You look at their two deep. They've got they only have one 300-pound lineman, for instance, so they've got a smallish offensive line. They got little tiny halfbacks, 5'9", 5'7", but they're very quick. They've got a big bruising fullback, so they will pound it at you, and then every once in a while step back and throw a pass downfield. Wyoming has done well in the main against option teams, and so that would bode well for the team. But offensively, the Cowboys have got to really get themselves together and start throwing and catching and running and doing the things that we thought they were going to do at the start of the year, and they haven't been able to do that lately. So it's a game that the Cowboys are going to have to really come out and play well, but they should be able to do that. And so this is a game where let's get back together and do what we know we can do.
It's interesting that you have the Terriers coming into War Memorial Stadium. We've had the opportunity from that conference to see Furman. Correct me if I'm wrong, the Citadel, and I think that was under the Vic Koenig era that those two teams came in, where we struggled, and that was back, in the early part of the century that we were really struggling offensively. But I guess what I'm saying is we got another situation with another team coming in, and we're still trying to find ourselves offensively right now. Good time to maybe put up a big day on the scoreboard for the Cowboys.
Yeah, and I think so. I think that's certainly what the doctor would order for this team right now. It really needs that. But I would say, the Furman game, the Citadel game, they turned out to be tough games for Wyoming, and that was a time in our history that the program was struggling a little bit. But the Southern is not a bad conference. They play well, but this is probably the best team in that league year in and year out. So they know how to win. They're very successful. They won 10 games last year, so that's a confident bunch. They're 2-0. And they'll come in here, and I believe they'll play very well. Wyoming just has to play better, and it should win the game. But you have to take care of your business. There's no looking past anything. I know Boise's in 2 weeks, but the situation that Wyoming's in right now, the Cowboys have to win this game, and they know that, and I think they'll play well.
Kevin McKinney, UW Senior Associate Athletic Director at UW, joined us. Kevin, one of the stories that we got today, or little sidebars, and you've seen a lot of great student athletes go through the football program in your time at UW and in your lifetime. One of those great student athletes is almost like, to me, seems like he's been on the field every down for the Wyoming Cowboys on the defensive side, and that'd be strong safety Andrew Wingard. I mean, he made his mark as a freshman. Here he is as a senior. And, he just keeps tacking on more tackles Correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, he's in the top 5 with the total tackles in his career.
Yeah, he's 80 behind Galen for the all-time lead. So he's right in there. He's going to have to do well, which we know he can do for the rest of the year. But I think that Andrew is just. I don't know what if that's your question. How good is he? He's good enough to break that record. Now he's going to have a good rest of the season, with double-digit tackles, but he can do that, and he's proven that through his career. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody, honestly, Larry, who started as a freshman, started his career off like he did, and has really never let up. He's never had a real swoon. He's been there. I'm knocking on wood. He's been healthy, which is a big part of it, but he is a very intelligent football player who knows where to be, and when he gets there, he usually gets the job done. He's a pretty sure tackler. He's a great leader back there, and even if he didn't break Galen's record, he'd still go down as one of the great defensive players I think Wyoming has ever had.
He's one of those, great diamonds that we found when he was first recruited to come to Wyoming. And again, the question I was leading to, like I said, you've seen a lot of football players at UW, but very rarely do you find that football player, freshman to senior, and playing all the time and just making their mark on UW Cowboy football.
Right, and the only way that you get to be a record holder in terms of number of tackles is that you play consistently well, and you play without injury, and you get after it, and that's how Galen played the game, and that's how this guy plays, and I would not be surprised, you guys, if he didn't break Galen's record before he's done here at the school. But when he graduates, he'll go down in my book as one of the all-timers.
When he graduates, is it safe to assume him and maybe a few other Wyoming Cowboys currently a part of this team could be vital pieces amongst the NFL draft? I mean, with Winger again, if he's putting on these special, at least this season, at least career at the University of Wyoming, I mean, does he have enough talent to at least contribute to the NFL? Will he get looks to be a part of an NFL team coming up when he does graduate?
Oh, I think so, and he really has anyway, Nick. I mean, they've been looking at him for a couple of years, so you never know what certain teams are looking for, but I can't imagine him not being a draft choice when he's done. We have scouts here every week looking at he and Granderson and Gaffon, and they're here every week, and believe me, he's going to get a shot with somebody. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Something that the offense didn't need was the departure of wide receiver Avante Cox, leaving the team for personal reasons, and obviously we're not going to get too deep into that, Kevin, but I know he only had grabbed one pass this season for 5 yards, but an offense with skilled players, and we lose yet another player. I know we have those on the injury side, but these are things that you just don't need, especially as we head into the fourth week of the season.
No, you don't. I mean, it's just it's really unfortunate. It's disappointing. I think he had a future here. Avante is a talented guy, but they decide what they want to do, and if this isn't the place for them, then you just have to wish them the best, because there's no point crying over it now. You've got to circle the ranks and move on. But I always hate to see somebody give it up and leave the program.
And final thought here before we let you go, and again, thank you in advance for joining us. What are we hearing as far as the Blue Cross Blue Shield guys that are currently on the injury list? Are we going to see anybody suiting up, coming back? What are you hearing, or what do you know?
Well, I think that for sure Prosser will be back this week, so that'll be a good help on the defensive side. But I don't think that we're going to see Austin Ford. I don't think we're going to see Harshman. We're not going to see Nico more than likely. So there's some big pieces that are not going to be there on Saturday, which you always like to go into any game with all your bullets, but Cowboys won't have all of them. I think Ty Mayfield's going to be real tired at the end of Saturday's game because I think he's going to get a lot of reps. But, it's just, unfortunately, when you play two P5s in a row like that, it's going to take its toll. There's no doubt about it. And certainly Missouri, the Missouri game took its toll on the Cowboys physically.
And, as we wrap it up right here, this is one of the advantages, of going over to the islands and taking on Hawaii. We already had the one bye week already in place, but you get that extra bye week. And I'm sure now, as the Cowboys looked at putting this schedule together, and nobody wants to get injured, but I'll tell you what, though, we're looking forward to those upcoming bye weeks.
Oh yeah, the way they were scheduled this year, Larry, they came at what you would say would be very strategic times. Some years you might have a bye week the second week of the year or something like that, which just doesn't do you much good really. But these are falling about right, and which is a good thing, and the Cowboys will utilize them to the max.
I don't know how much an advantage it is taking on Hawaii, especially how well the Rainbow Warriors are playing this year. Again, that's going to be a tough contest on the island.
We're looking at just getting healed.
Unhealthy, absolutely. Yeah. Before we let you go, Kevin, some breaking news came out today, especially in the pros, with the Buffalo Bills starting quarterback will be Josh Allen. Your thoughts on him, at least now getting that opportunity? Are you a little scared? We know that the Bills are awful, and that offensive line it's not the greatest shakes in the NFL right now, but I mean, just give your thoughts, though, at least with Wyoming getting that representation, Josh getting that starting opportunity coming up this Sunday.
Well, you're absolutely so excited for him, and I know he's excited. And Nick, I guarantee he's not thinking about how bad that offensive line is, but he's with those guys. They're his teammates, and he's expecting them to play well. But I can't imagine the Bills playing any worse than they did last week, and playing the Chargers, and Bosa's out. I see that'll be a little bit of a help, but it's got to be so exciting for Josh to get this opportunity, and he's not thinking like the rest of us is he ready, and this do they have enough weapons to help him out and all that kind of stuff. He has worked hard, and he's earned this opportunity, and he's going to go out there and he's going to play his very best. I wish him the very best. We're so excited for him. I think we all wish that he could have waited a little longer and maybe had a clipboard for a little bit longer, but that didn't happen. And so you take the opportunities as they come along, and I guarantee you he'll be ready to go, and he'll be excited. Somebody asked me today if I thought he'd be nervous. I guarantee his parents will be nervous, but I don't know how nervous he's going to be. He'll just be ready to go.
Well, he was there at the mini camps, the OTAs, and of course, getting ready at summer camp. So, I mean, it's not like the.
Yeah, I was going to say my main issue, though, at least coming up with this starting again, I had to bring up that offensive line. Is I'm more worried about keeping him healthy, especially that offensive line.
It'd be like the movie Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run. Yeah, that's what he knows how to do that.
Let's hope he has a heck of a day.
You bet. Hey, Kevin, we'll see you Saturday at the War, and thank you so much for joining us once again. We do appreciate it.
Okay, good talking to you guys.
All right, Kevin McKinney joining us here on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and I'm glad you brought that up, Nick. We'll talk a little bit about Josh Allen after we take a break. We're back with more after these words right here on 1480 K-Ray.
For 56 years, 1480 K-Ray has been Cheyenne's home for good times and great oldies. Also with KYY FM, we are Cheyenne and the area's only locally owned AM/FM combo radio stations. Add that to the addition of 3 FM radio translators to serve the area with programming from both K-Ray and KYY, and that equals a lot of bang for your local advertising dollar. Radio, yesterday and today, still works. For more information, contact Larry Proetti at 307-637-0301.
Do you know that almost 30,000 American men will die from prostate cancer this year? Do you know that behind lung cancer, prostate cancer is the second leading cause of cancer death in American men? Cheyenne Urological reminds everyone that September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, and getting a checkup is a key component to avoiding prostate cancer. So for us guys, we need to stay healthy. Get a checkup. Call Cheyenne Urological at 635-4131 today and make an appointment. That's 635-4131.
Selfless service is the guiding principle that drives Army National Guard soldiers to be always ready whenever disaster strikes. They are your next-door neighbors and your colleagues in schools, offices, and factories. To be a Guard soldier is to stand ready to serve at all times for family, for community, and for country. To learn more, log on to NationalGuard.com or contact an Army National Guard recruiter in your area.
Sponsored by the Wyoming Army National Guard. Aired by the Wyoming Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Don't move firewood. Firewood can carry insects and diseases that kill trees. Remember to always get firewood as close to your destination as possible. Burn firewood where you buy or gather it. Trees in towns and forests are threatened by native and exotic insects and diseases that can hitch a ride in a load of firewood. Let's keep forests healthy so we can continue to enjoy camping, hiking, hunting, and fishing. Brought to you by the Wyoming State Forestry Division in cooperation with the U.S. Forest Service.
You bleed brown and gold? So do we. Wyoming Cowboys football and basketball is always front and center on this show. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today, and it's here on AM 1480. K-Ray.
We are back on Wyoming Sports Talk today, and thanks for asking that question of Kevin there and his reaction to Josh Allen getting the call, getting the nod.
And again, it was tongue-in-cheek because, again, I have full belief in Josh Allen. It's great that he's getting that starting opportunity, again, representing University of Wyoming, but this Bills team is just terrible, and you have to, again, as fragile as Josh Allen has been, and again, we saw in preseason of how that offensive line collapsed on him, and he was running for his life, and then eventually had to leave that contest with the concussion protocol. But we know this Bills season is a throwaway. Maybe Josh Allen can turn it around. You can only hope so, but it seems like they have mounds of problems that Josh probably can't overcome. No. And again, the big thing for me with Josh Allen being that starting quarterback, again, as I mentioned, it's health. This is a guy you want to keep healthy. If the Bills want this guy to be the franchise quarterback, you're feeding him out to the dogs right now, where this hopefully does not get ugly for Josh Allen, and hopefully does not get serious.
As Kevin mentioned, and again, Joey Bosa, the former grade of Ohio State, of course, who's been with the L.A. Chargers since his, since he was drafted out of college, he's not going to be available. So that's one big pain in the rear he doesn't have to worry about. That would be his blind side, first and foremost. Mm-hmm. So, with Josh Allen, he is ready. And like I said, he's ready.
Again,
he's ready to be an NFL quarterback.
I think others would disagree with you. Again, what was the intention with Josh coming up this season was to make him watch for a bit.
He was going to be the understudy.
He was going to hold a clipboard, and again, they would trot him out when they felt he was ready. I think they're rushing him out a little too soon.
Ask yourself the question: why did they unload A.J. McCarron? Why?
I don't know.
Again.
Again, according to Sal, when we talked with him, Raiders gave him a good deal, or at least where I'm assuming they took advantage of what we could get for A.J. McCarron. We know this season's going to be a wash. All right, let's build for the future and see what we can do with Peterman.
Why do you want your two quarterbacks that are left standing, Peterman and Allen, to be basically put on IR.
Why sign someone who's going to be a part of this team that you're going to pay millions for that's not going to really help out this team either?
You got me?
It's an interesting situation of what's happening in Buffalo.
The front office of the Buffalo Bills right now have really put the pressure on Coach Sean McDermott.
Yeah, you don't believe in that system out there? I don't.
I don't either. I think
again, we know this season's going to be a wash. The Bills are going to be the utmost just terrible team, but I
don't think they're a 0-16 team.
They might. I think they have a good shot. If there was one team I had to pick out of the NFL that could go 0-16, it is that Buffalo team.
I think they'll win. I think they'll be like a 2-14 team,
Maybe.
And they'll remind me. This team's going to remind me of when Troy Aikman first came onto the scene with the Dallas Cowboys. And I mean, they were brutal. And I have a feeling this is what, for Josh Allen, talk about baptism under fire. And unfortunately for Josh, it's going to be baptism under extreme duress every time he's out there starting. And again, Josh is raw. There's no doubt about it. He's also, again, I think he's a better ad-libber than Peterman. And I don't think things could get any worse than they did last week.
We'll see, because, again, that was against Baltimore. Baltimore does not – they don't look like that great of a team.
Baltimore is a lot better than people are giving them credit
for.
It's not the upper echelon. I told you that I think they're going to do some good things. I really don't. It's one of those years that Harbaugh is going to put a team that is good, and they're going to fly under the radar all throughout the course of the year.
Then they should have been good last year because they really didn't do anything much in the offseason. But, again, looking at the Buffalo Bills schedule coming up, they will be at home hosting the L.A. Chargers. Sorry. I think that's a loss. On the road at Minnesota, on the road at Green Bay, home against Tennessee, at Houston, at Indy, home against New England. You might have a shot at home against Chicago. On the road at New York? I don't think so. Home against Jacksonville? No. At Miami? No. Home against the Jets? No. Versus Detroit? Maybe a win. Possibly. At New England? No. And then home against Miami? Maybe.
Yeah,
but doubtful.
I guess that's about 2-14.
But I'm just saying that's a tough go about it. That's a lot of quality opponents that they're seeing this year. And it's going to be a long season out there in Buffalo. And hey, the storybook, or at least that Cinderella story of Josh Allen takes over and maybe carries his this terrible Bills team to something special. I don't think he has that. He has the talent, but I don't think he has enough. I don't think he's at that Tom Brady level to do something like that at this point in time.
No, and he's not even at the Sam Darnold level. I think Darnold is going to be that savior in New York. I think he showed me a lot the other night. I got to watch.
I just don't know if the Jets are that good behind Darnold.
I didn't say
Detroit's
they're good.
That bad.
I didn't say they're no. Detroit is not good defensively, and Matt Patricia will be the first one to tell you he doesn't have a good team.
Yeah, but again, there's not much to read into Week 1.
But then we got to say that Buffalo will not get as killed as bad.
And Josh just has a feeling.
Josh can't be any
again.
worse.
Chargers coming off that tough loss against Kansas City. Again, a Chargers team that has the world, at least the weight of the world of anticipating that this team is going to win the West, make a great run in the playoffs. I think the Chargers figure out, hey, we need to turn on the afterburners and get it done against this team.
All right, but I don't expect Allen to go 6-15. And again, too, he doesn't play defense, so the defense not stopping Phillip Rivers, that's not his concern. He needs to move the offense up and down the field.
He has nothing to move that offense with, though. That's the thing.
Well, he's got an arm, and if that arm can find a connection here and there, maybe they are a little better than they were last week.
It's just the theme of this situation, though, with Josh Allen, again, happy that he's getting that starting role with the Buffalo Bills, but it just feels it's not the right time. And also, too, it feels like he's just getting thrown to the dogs where, hey, good luck out there. Hopefully you don't get injured. And that's what it has a feeling like of you're just letting him out there. He's going to be running. We already saw in the preseason he was running for his life. He's going to continue that trend coming up. I don't foresee this is going to be a good situation for Josh Allen. As much as you want it to be, it it doesn't feel like it's going to be a great outcome for Josh Allen in his rookie season.
Well, we don't have to worry about welcome to the National Football League because he got the baptism last week.
Yep.
And he got slapped around pretty good by Baltimore. So we'll see how the preparation is. And again, Coach McDermott making that announcement. So, Josh now knows he's working with the number ones, and he'll be ready for Sunday football coming up this weekend. Hey, we got tickets to give away, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, let's do that. Let's take a timeout.
All right.
And we come back, you need to go to the Fishbowl of Awesomeness.
Yeah.
And we'll be back with a couple of tickets to give away to see the Cowboys and the Wofford Terriers in just a little bit right here at 1480 K-Ray. Due to our stormy season this summer, Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service is offering you a hail of a deal on a wide variety of travel trailers, including toy haulers. Get up to an additional 50% off MSRP on Jolly Rogers' already low prices. Check out their new and used inventory. Damaged or not, you can still travel in style. Call Jolly Rogers RV Sales and Service today, your exclusive Jayco dealer at 634-8457. See them at 6102 U.S. Highway 30 or go to jollyrogersrv.com.
Taco John's presents Olay the Day Pep Talks.
All right, good half of football, boys. Now, good is good, but we can always be better. Look at Taco John's. They took those tasty little potato lays and loaded them up with bacon and ranch and all kinds of good stuff. They made something good even better.
Taco John's new loaded potato olays are loaded with craveable toppings for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and even dessert.
So olay the day, boys, and play like you're making loaded potato lays.
Olay the day at Taco John's.
Every story has a beginning, a middle, and an end, but not necessarily in that order. You decide where you're going and how you'll get there. An unwritten experience awaits. Be bold, be prepared, be inspired. Your story unfolds. Laramie County Community College. Visit lccc.wi.edu to start your story today.
Check out the huge savings this week at Town & Country Supermarket Liquors. Here are just a few of the terrific weekly specials. This week's Super Radio buys, heard only right here. Exotico Tequila, Blanco Reposado, 750 milliliter bottle, $12.59. Blacktooth Brewing Variety Pack, 12-pack, 12-ounce cans, $15.59. Crown Royal Canadian Whiskey Gift Box with flask, 750 milliliter bottle, $19.99. Town & Country Supermarket Liquors on the South Greeley Highway, Cheyenne's low price leader.
Here's the latest weather forecast on 1480 K-Ray.
For today, it'll be sunny with highs around 87 and winds out of the west at 10 to 15. For tonight, it'll be clear skies with lows around 52. On Thursday, it'll be sunny with highs around 85. And on Thursday night, it'll be clear skies with lows around 51.
We're taking Cheyenne, Wyoming Sports Talk Radio to a whole new level. This is Wyoming Sports Talk Today.
Don't look at me. I think these people are completely nuts.
Stop this crazy thing! And it's only here on AM 1480 K-Ray.
Back with you on Wyoming Sports Talk today, Larry Peroletti. Nick Peroletti, who has been doing this Monday and Tuesday, and he gets to do it again today. Gets to give away tickets.
Oh.
Freebies to see the Wofford Terriers. I'm actually, before we give the tickets away, I'm actually getting more and more amped up for this game simply for the fact I think that the Cowboys are going to find pay dirt, even though they're banged up.
I'm preparing myself for the worst.
For the letdown?
I really don't anticipate the Cowboys to lose this game. If they do, it would be a surprise, not a huge shock though. But again, this offense, you lost another piece. At least yesterday, you lost another piece with Cox, the wide receiver. Now, I don't know. Again, this Wofford team is one of the top teams in the Southern. It's a quality team in the FCS. It's a team that's been in the playoffs. It's there. They can pull off that victory. We'll certainly see.
And again, and I'm glad Kevin mentioned that too while we were talking. And again, I know we need to give the tickets away. Wofford was 10-3 last year. I mean, they're not a slouch team.
Oh no.
And again, they will remind you of Air Force. They're small. and again, they got the one lineman's 300 pounds, but other than that, they are small, they're fast. They try to beat you up with their fullback, and then then you got your wingmen that they're going to try to beat you with.
Yeah.
And they throw the football only when they need to. So, again, like I said, they have a lot of similarities to the Air Force.
That rushing defense has had issues in the past 2 games, but again, it's against Power 5 teams.
Not really. They had issues because they were worn down.
I saw many missed tackles and, again, open gaps where those running backs for Washington State or Mizzou rush for pretty good yards in the early of those contests.
I don't anticipate that happening here on Saturday, simply for the fact that the Cowboys have, under the Craig Bowl regime, they have been able to handle these type of offenses, these quicker, again, barring New Mexico a couple of years ago, I understand. But
you would hope that this team could handle the issue, at least with the Wyoming Cowboys, is it shouldn't be handling these style of offenses, these kind of level of teams. You expect Wyoming to beat this team. We should all expect it, but now that I have hesitation, it's not a good sign. It's for Wyoming. I think we're at the point with this team where you should start expecting them to compete and get victories against Power 5 teams, get victories against a Washington State, a Missouri, an Oregon of last year, whoever it may be. It's an interesting part or at least kind of time we are with the Wyoming Cowboys, where again it is getting that notoriety. You do have a respectable coach, again players that are getting that NFL scouts and getting that publicity across the nation. This is the perfect storm. Is Wyoming comes in, takes care of things, wins very big against Wofford, and prepares and just kind of eases into that Boise State game. But again, it would not surprise me at all that Wofford walks out of Laramie with a victory. Again, this is a team that also, too, is talented, but also comes out of Spartanburg, South Carolina. South Carolina, again, dealing with the hurricane, has that, again, that might be sitting on the back of their minds. Kind of what I said with Hawaii coming out to Colorado State. They have a lot of, among getting the victory.
The volcano activity, yeah, I understand.
Well, they had a hurricane as well, too. That was at least the islands. But this might be something that also fuels that fire for Wofford coming in again, where it gives that extra just fuel to this team of going, let's play for our home state. Let's play for those folks who are getting affected right now. Let's bring some sort of happiness back to them who are dealing with it.
Well, and again, like I said, and you and me having that discussion yesterday, we may have something really to talk about here on Monday if the offensive coordinator for the Wyoming Cowboys lays an egg. And I know,
if they do,
I know he's not playing the game. I understand that he's not playing the game, but he is up top looking down like we are at War Memorial Stadium, and he's addressing those plays, saying this is what's going to work. And if they don't work, then you and me have some big things to discuss here on Monday.
I think Craig Bowl should have big things to discuss on Monday as well, too, if that is the outcome. Again, that would be unacceptable. This is a team, and again, no disrespect to Wofford, but again, it is a team that is at least in the FCS, it is sub-Division 1. You should not be losing to sub-Division 1 teams.
And again, this would be like Wyoming going to Missouri. We didn't expect to win at Missouri.
Yeah.
Wofford coming to Wyoming. They're not expecting to win. They would like to, but they're not expecting to win. And the Cowboys better win this thing going away. It's a very simple drill.
Yeah.
Speaking of Wyoming, we want you to join us. We're going to be there.
Join us for the roller coaster ride that will be Saturday.
Who knows? It might be smooth sailing. We have no idea. But we know one thing's for sure. It's going to be an absolutely gorgeous day for football. You got 2 tickets to give away.
Football? Yeah, try and say it again. Yeah. Yeah.
You want to go?
Come on. Don't throw stuff because, again, it's live on TV, and I will send that to the CPD.
The CPD?
Cheyenne Police Department. It's simple as that. Anyway, so as we've been giving away a pair of tickets this week to see Wyoming versus Wofford. What we will do as well today will be the final day, as it's our final pair of tickets, along with also two goodies to go see our friends over at Chick-fil-A on the corner of Delrange and Windmill. Again, it is breakfast goodies of a choice of an egg scrambled bowl. Let's see what else. Egg white grill and a Chick-fil-A chicken biscuit. Again, you only get a choice of one, and it's only valid at Chick-fil-A at the corner of Delrange change at Windmill. Guess what? It won't work. If you go to the Frontier Mall location, they're not going to accept it. They don't know what it even is.
Well, and then also, too, they don't have two convenient drive-thrus either.
Yeah.
We do, right here at the corner of Windmill and Del Range.
So the final pair of tickets and the final pair of goodies to go see Chick-fil-A will be going to whoever I choose out of the Fishbowl of Awesomeness. Again, thank you to all who joined us on the Twitter and Facebook side who entered this past week.
You're not going to be happy when we get done with this.
Why? I'll tell you. All right, whatever. Anyways, though, I'm going to pull a random name out here. Alrighty. So it's going to be Joshua Hodges. Joshua Hodges will be our winner of the final pair of tickets to go see Wyoming versus Wofford and those Chick-fil-A goodies. I will notify you on either Twitter or Facebook, message you privately to tell you how you come by and get those tickets and how you can go and see that contest coming up this Saturday. Again, kickoff 2 o'clock.
Thank you again to all that
and guess
participate
what?
in your contest.
This game's not on TV, so you have to go out there to watch it. There is no Facebook Live. There is nothing. Again, you got to go out to that game to watch it. So, again, Joshua Hodges and a few other winners throughout this, again, who won earlier this week, get that opportunity.
I mean, this is a great weekend to get out there. Temperature's going to be fantastic. I mean, it's going to be summer-like temperatures, and you get a chance to go to the War Memorial Stadium and watch the Cowboys again with a lesser opponent. You would feel pretty good.
A team you should win.
The Cowboys should feel pretty good that or you as a fan should feel pretty good that the Cowboys will come away with a win in this thing.
If they don't,
and they're winning because you were there.
If they don't, then there's hell to raise.
If they lost because you were there, you'll never win again on this radio. No, I'm just kidding. You want to know what you're not going to be happy about?
I don't know.
11 in a row.
Oh.
I can't take this anymore.
At this point, I don't care.
Wait a minute. I've been a fan a lot longer than you, pal.
Again, they're still doing better than they were last year.
When Grandpa Pro Eddie took yours truly to see my first Giants game back in the 60s, 63, when I'm 6 years old.
Yeah.
I have never seen a Giants team this pathetic here at the end of the year. This tells me
I think I could recall a few teams, probably 2006, 2007, when Barry Bonds was focusing on his home run record.
They didn't lose 11 in a row.
They were pretty rough, though.
I know they were rough.
Think about last year. Last year, they were flirting with 100 losses.
They didn't lose 11 in a row, though, like they did here.
I'll take 11 losses in a row than approaching 100 losses.
This team 2 weeks ago was 5 games out, right? And they've lost 11 straight games.
We knew it was over. Who cares?
So PO'd.
Who cares?
I don't know who I'm mad at. I don't know if I'm mad at Bochy for not caring.
I think he cares.
Or the Giants front office for not caring. I don't know.
I think both care at least at this point in time. It's a complete wash. We know that the Giants are they're just trying to solidify draft picks coming up, but.
I don't care about draft picks.
You should for the future because they have not a whole lot. That farm system's kind of depleted for the Giants. You should care that they have draft picks coming up. Right. That farm system was traded away in some of those key pieces that are not even here amongst the San Francisco Giants anymore. It's something that you should care about. And this team, as I've been saying for quite some time, it's gonna be a different look Giants.
The Giants can't score. All right.
I don't know what you're complaining about.
I've seen more runs than pantyhoses. I've seen better hits by the Mafia. 7 hits. Oh, this team stinks. 3 hits by Panic today, and that's the guy I'm saying unload. 2 by Longoria.
You know.
Hundley 2 hits, and that's it. No one else can hit the ball.
Again, I don't know what you're complaining about. Dodgers haven't won a World Series in 40 years or something like that.
I don't care. You know what? When you win, you like it, and you want to win again.
This team wasn't going to the playoffs. We know that. We knew that for quite some time. And again, this is a team that came out, especially midway through that second half of this year's season. They said, hey, we're going to have to unload. We're going to have to again, there's going to be pieces that
tool?
Essentially. I think that's a smart thing for this Giants team.
You need to get rid of some of the tools on your team first and foremost.
I think they will. Again, I think that's what's best for this Giants team is, hey, they might be rolling over and playing dead at this point in time, but you kind of expect it at the same time.
Go Rockies. Tonight you will be at 6:40, and you got the Diamondbacks. Do not play like last night. Score some runs. John Gray.
I told you Arizona was going to come back.
John Gray will be on the hill for the Rocks. 94 right now in downtown Denver. Patrick Corbin will toe the rubber. So it's going to be a really warm night for
I wonder if they'll stay hydrated.
You know what? You have to. You can't get cramps in those. That's where you get hamstring injuries, if you did not know that. You could pull a hamstring.
I was making a joke. I think professional athletes know how to keep hydrated.
Well, sometimes they get hurt too, don't they, Nick? You've seen them pull up lane before.
I really doubt it. Again,
okay. Don't go there. Play the game, then you can pop off. So anyway, John Gray will get the call, and Patrick Corbin will toe the rubber for the Diamondbacks. All right, we want to remind you, tonight it is our Golden Age of Radio Theater, where we will have Red Skelton times 2. I was listening to last night's program. Talk about being on the mark. Those guys were funny last night, including Red. And that will be on at 8 to 8:30, 8:30 to 9. Then we have 1 hour of suspense theater. Yeah. That's really interesting for radio, especially that they actually have an hour program. You know, I mean, these serials used to go 30 minutes, 25 minutes.
You have to deal with breaks and advertisers, but again, I don't know if they snuck in any of this stuff, but
it's a suspense theater for an hour from 9 until 10 tomorrow. And we only have tomorrow's program. We will not have a program again on Friday, as we will be over at the Okie Blanchard Sports Complex. East and South, our pregame